Hey guys, Bitcoin Owen here. There's a report in today's RTE news website, rt.ie/business, I think you might find it there. But they're discussing, this is the first time I've ever seen it on RT, but they're discussing the failure of the dollar basically in a news article on RT today. They're saying that the dollar is weakening basically, and that Trump is meddling with trying to take control of the US Federal Reserve, and by doing that he is destroying the Fed's independence basically, and the whole thing rests on that. The whole fiat system rests on the fact that the Federal Reserve in America is independent and they act independently, and the government does not influence monetary policy, basically the setting of interest rates by the Federal Reserve. So this is an interesting development. They go on to discuss it, the matter with Brown, I think he was called James Brown maybe, from Bagot Investment Partners in Dublin, and he says that Trump's meddling with the Federal Reserve is undermining the dollar basically, and the dollar in the MSCI World Index, 75% by market cap of the companies in MSCI World Index are American, but America only accounts for 25% of the world's growth. So he thinks that people are pulling out their investments from America basically, and moving towards independence from America and the dollar basically, de-dollarization they call it. Silver is up as well as usual. It's above $90 today. Bitcoin is up. It has gone up to $95,000 now, I think, per Bitcoin. So all the silver price basically is a yardstick, and so is Bitcoin a yardstick for the level of stress in the system, the amount of doubt that there is out there that will say the US dollar and the US economy and it's a fiat, generally speaking, the whole fiat money system is sound, and it looks like Trump is undermining the whole thing anyway, what he's doing. His takeover of Greenland looks in doubt now, because the French and Germans are sending troops to Greenland to defend Greenland from Trump's proposed takeover of Greenland. But that's a side issue. Silver is looking good as an investment, but Bitcoin is even better, to be honest about it. They started manipulating the silver price in 1975, according to Ed Steer today in his podcast, the Arcadia Economics podcast on your favorite podcast app. You can get it on all major podcast apps. I listen to it on Castbox. And well, you see, silver was money for thousands of years basically before they introduced fiat in 1913 with the Federal Reserve and the creature from Jekyll Island. And silver was money up until then, and then they demonetized silver and used the dollar instead, and they've been using fiat all over the world now. Every country in the world is on a fiat standard. They're all using fiat and not using silver. But all of a sudden now that the dollar is starting to look shaky, like they mentioned in RTE News today, people are looking for alternatives, and the alternatives, gold, silver and Bitcoin, those are your alternatives. The stock market is not really a good alternative, because the stock market will go down with the dollar basically. If the dollar goes down, the stock market will go down, and I would say stick to your silver, and get the whole thing about silver is you need to buy physical, real hard silver, not the ETF that you can buy on the stock exchange. You buy silver from a dealer, and my silver in Ireland is Celtic Gold.ie, and I can recommend them. I'm not an affiliate of Celtic Gold.ie, but they've never let me down anyway. And all the silver that I have bought has arrived and in good shape. Yeah, it is interesting. The first time I've seen RT News talk about the demise of the dollar. And it's a theme that's in we'd say the alternative media for a decade or two now at this stage, like maybe a decade and a half, back to 2011. But it looks like things are looking dodgy anyway for the dollar. If RT are talking about it today, and Trump is trying to scramble, the US Treasuries are still stable at around 4.18. The 10-year is at 4.18% per annum, the yield on the 10-year. And that has held steady even since Trump announced that he started talking about Greenland, and since he abducted Maduro in Venezuela, and since he tried to make peace with the Russians and the Ukrainians. But that's all for now, lads. Have a look at that article on RT News if you get a chance.